Many people today think that they have faith, that they believe in God, and once I thought the same way. I also thought that I have some kind of understanding. I had a lot more supernatural experiences than other people, but when I began to look at my life, then everything turned out to be far from what it seemed. I would like to sincerely talk about this just from my heart, share it with you in order to clarify more, and tell you how it was in my life. It was the Soviet Union, and I was 6 years old when I began to understand about God at least something. Since I lived several hundred meters from the water, my friends and I gathered and went as always to swim. When I jumped off the boat, my head hit the corner of the boat and I got hurt, serious bleeding. I started going back home. Of course, I was crying, there was stress, there were emotions. Halfway through, something began to happen. The thought came to me, probably you will die. With this, a clear understanding began to come, and the spiritual world began to open. At that time, I didn't share this experience with anyone, and I understand that God didn't show this whole world, because if God fully opened the spiritual world to a 6-year-old child, then of course He would begin to share it with everyone, right? Just imagine to see the spiritual world. This could have given even more stress to me. Thus, something was opened and something was hidden. It was revealed to me that I knew who had come for me. Death came for me. There was a spiritual person next to me who came and possessed my life. And it spoke to me through thoughts. How can I have an understanding? When you get into the spiritual world, there you don't need to explain who is who. And often, people who experience the spiritual world, even if they don't know who Jesus Christ is, after that, they begin to know who He is. You understand, right? Everything is clearly defined there very quickly. I had no idea that death can be a person, that there are some spiritual beings, angels, demons, God, Jesus. I didn't know the details, but when you get into the spiritual world, it opens up and becomes natural. Death came for me. Through my thought, it began to speak. I had a clear understanding. And I had already agreed. I thought, yes, I will probably die. And this feeling, this understanding, really began to possess me. It was noon, hot, sun, and at that moment, a voice sounded from the sky. And this voice sounded like a thunder, clear and understandable. I heard the words, "You shall not die, but live." You shall not die, but live. And when this voice sounded, I heard it with my ears. It entered my ears, but it began to descend. And this voice, these words entered my heart. And if you study or have an understanding of what is written about faith, what the Bible says, this is exactly what is written about. When the word descends and faith begins to live inside you, this word begins to live when you unite and living faith comes. And when this happened, this person, this whole feeling of death, stress, all experience immediately, automatically disappeared. Being 6 years old, not knowing who God is, not having any understanding, I was completely filled with the belief that nothing bad would happen to me. Even if I had tears, I no longer had that stress anymore, and supernatural comfort came. Faith came supernaturally through the Word, which filled and removed and supplanted everything. And you know, you can say, at the age of 6, can it be the true? Or maybe untrue? Maybe it's stress, experiences. How serious it was. Many years have passed, but I remember not just all these moments, but I remember all these feelings. They are all very vividly imprinted in me. And why is it important? And why can it be the true? If this were not true, then God would not have to say, "You will not die, but you will live." If it seemed like a trauma or another problem, then God would have to inspire and fill me with faith in a completely different direction. But God just said, "You will not die," because the death claimed my life.